Welcome back to our study of the way of the Bodhisattva. We are continuing in chapter 2, the confession chapter, working our way through this massive offering of this spa experience of Indian hospitality that we're offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Right now we are on verse 19. Fair and precious parasols, adorned with golden shafts, all bordered round with hems of precious jewels, upright, well-proportioned, pleasing to the eye. Again, all this I give to all the Buddhas. So in India, in a very hot place, to hold a parasol over somebody is an extreme act of offering, right? Because you're protecting them from the sun. And it's something often done for royalty, right? So we're doing that for the Buddha. So we're imagining these parasols over the Buddhas. And it's just the same as if you were walking behind Shakyamuni, carrying the umbrella that is protecting them from the scorching noonday sun. So imagine in that spirit that you are offering parasols. Verse 20, may a host of other offerings and clouds of ravishing sweet melody that solaces the pain of living beings arise and constantly abide. So then you just take this whole offering that you have and then just imagine it multiplying it to infinity, just infinite of everything everyone could ever want. And if you can't see it, don't worry about it, because what is it you're really offering? Love. Love is always the offering. It's the open heart towards openness, right? The open warmth that's natural to who you are, your basic goodness, connected to the openness of experience. When you bring these two together, that's what offering really is, right? So we're tapping into it. We use these pictures, images, visualization, substantial material offerings, all of these things to help facilitate our whole spiritual opening at the root of our subtlest self, so that we can begin to tap into our natural bodhicitta. Verse 21, may rain of flowers and every precious gem fall down in an unceasing stream upon the jewels of sacred Dharma, images and all supports for offerings. So you can imagine a vast field of statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and stacks of Dharma texts behind them. And then you can imagine flowers and gems just pouring down on top of all of them. All of these build substantial karmic imprints in your mind, binding you to the Buddha Dharma, right? So even though I keep referring to the ultimate aspect of this, the natural basic goodness of yourself and the openness that we're connecting to, we also want to set up the karmic links to the Buddha Dharma, because this is what's going to get us to enlightenment, right? We need the Buddha Dharma. We are not yet across the river. We don't get to put the raft aside when we're not there yet. So we want to make sure that we're bound to this raft for as long as we need it till we get to the other shore. And so part of what we're doing every day with the prostrations, offering, devotion, like sometimes like, are we worshiping some other God? No, we are establishing a relationship on an ultimate level to our highest and best self, the openness and warmth that we really are, but also establishing this connection to all of the skillful means of the Buddha Dharma, because the skillful means are the triggers that remind us and help us access this highest ultimate level, because we work at a relative level because we're still caught in samsara confusion. So until we achieve Buddhahood, we need to bring along our relative self as far as we can to this highest level. And the Buddha Dharma is the best expression we have available to us that taps us into this ultimate truth. So we want to be working on both levels, the skillful means and the ultimate at all times. This is how we will assuredly get across the river and be successful. We should never disparage the skillful means. They're just as important until we attain Buddhahood. And so that's what this is all about. We're connecting at the highest level and we're connecting at the relative level. And we need both of those in concert, and that will bring us to the other shore. Verse 22, just as Manjughosha and the like made offerings to all the conquerors, I do likewise to all the Buddhas and Buddhas are protectors, and to all their Bodhisattva children. So it's pointing out that the Bodhisattvas, this is the same path they practiced on, right? We are part of a lineage. And, I don't know if you're familiar with the term morphogenetic field that Rupert Sheldrake came up with, but he had this theory that things that are done by other sentient beings become easier to do in the future as like a whole because of our connection, right? And karma syncs up with this. This makes sense, right? Because of the interdependence we have with all other sentient beings, something done for a long time and in our previous lives, then becomes more and more and more accessible than trying to build something new. When something's totally novel, then you really have to build the karma from scratch. But we have karmic connections to the Dharma, otherwise we wouldn't be here at all. But since we have these karmic roots, these karmic connections, so we want to make sure that these karmic roots and connections are firmly established in our being. And we can do that by reciting this and making offerings and doing all of these things. We are assuring that we have strong tendril, right? That's the word in Tibetan. That means that you have a karmic link. We want to have a karmic link to the Buddha Dharma on a relative level, so that we don't lose it anywhere along the path. You know, hopefully we attain liberation in this lifetime or in the bardo, but if we don't, then we want to be set up with the karma to immediately find the Dharma again, to find parents who are Dharma practitioners, and for us to be able to start practicing right where we left off. And if we practice diligently, that's assured, because our karma will work that way, right? We've been promised by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who have the deep insight into karma that that's what will work. And it's demonstrating that Manjushri, the king of insight Bodhisattva, did this same thing to develop the merit he had to have the wisdom he had, right? And they never mention which Bodhisattva by accident, right? When they say, you know, Chenrezig, then there's a connection to compassion. When they say Vajrapani, there's a connection to power and action. And when he says Manjughosha, he's referring to wisdom. So he's saying that this ultimate realization is connected to this relative practice of offering. Don't think that they're separate. There's many who really lay into the insight side of things and neglect this side of the path. And it's my firm conviction that realization is the result of merit. When we go sit down to meditate, our depth of experience will correspond to the amount of merit we have, not just how long we sit or how strong our concentration is, right? There's many beings who have lived throughout the world who are able to sit in states of samadhi millions of times better than anybody I know, right? In other traditions. And it did not lead to liberation, right? They had strong control of their minds, but that can lead to God realms. That can lead to the state, all kinds of different absorptions. Right? It's specific use of insight into selflessness. And the Buddha has been clear that we need merit to do this. So that's what we're up to here. We will be able to sit for less time and get more out of it if we have a lot of merit. So as I've always said, the reason this text is so pertinent for modern practitioners, because so much of it you can do without having to sit on your cushion for days and days and days, which we don't have the conditions to do. So we do these other things so that when we sit down for our hour or 2 or 3, we get way more out of it. It's going to be way more potent because we have spent that other time cultivating merit. Cultivating, when is merit? A relationship to the sacred, right? Our connection to the sacred, our connection to the Buddha Dharma, a relative connection to wisdom is stronger. So our access will be more immediate when we sit down to do it. So I hope that makes sense, and you can have a little glimpse into the amazing beauty of this text. There's nothing here for no reason. It's all has really specific reasons behind why it's in here, and it all is beneficial and so actionable, right? Like so much of Buddha Dharma can seem out of our reach, right? I can't practice like Milarepa, but I can do some of this. I can visualize this. I can say this offering verse at very least. So there's something you can do right now, today, and I hope you will. And thank you for your practice, and thank you for watching. Thank you for helping me study this text. I appreciate it so much. We'll see you next time.